The Cleveland Browns are 2-1 after an impressive Thursday night football victory over division rival Pittsburgh Steelers. But are the Browns a legitimate threat in the AFC? Can they, and most notably Jacoby Brissett, keep things rolling before the arrival of Deshaun Watson? Let us know in the comments how you're feeling about the Browns this season and whether you think they're a playoff team or not. But, Matt, I'll toss it up to you. What are you thinking, my guy?
Yeah, I think they are a playoff team. I mean, just off of the fact alone that the AFC West has turned out to not be the juggernaut division that we all thought it was.
Right.
Russ can't cook. The Chargers are playing with like 3 different broken ribs, a broken leg, an arm, and a concussion. And then the Raiders are, having some sort of remorse. I think, Devontae Adams is going to want to call his ex and see, if they're up. So there's just that alone definitely opens up a chance for the Browns to, as long as they stay steady, they can weather the storm and be there when Watson comes back. Yeah. But they're actually playing really well, which isn't surprising because that roster is a playoff roster. Yeah. If you just take away the quarterback and stop thinking about that for a second, I mean, you have 2 viable running backs in Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. You have Amari Cooper now. You have Njoku. You have Donovan Peoples-Jones. Like, this is a great offense. The defense is obviously stellar, too, for the most part. Myles Garrett being hurt is going to be interesting to see what happens there after the car accident. Yeah. But overall, this is a team that absolutely, as long as your quarterback is steady, they're going to find a way. I mean, Baker Mayfield, with half a shoulder, was able to keep the Browns somewhat relevant in the playoff run last year. Jacoby Brissett is a veteran quarterback who's been around, who's played with multiple teams. Stefanski obviously has a connection with him. Yeah. I think that they can stay afloat. And then once Watson comes back, who knows what happens. But yes, absolutely. Cleveland Browns are a playoff team.
I don't believe they are. If Deshaun Watson was around for more than half of the season, maybe I'd be able to vibe with that. But I just want to ask you, which of the Browns' 2 wins this season are impressive to you? Was it the 2-point win at the gun over the Carolina Panthers, who aren't a playoff team? Or was it the 12-point win over Mitchell Trubisky and the Pittsburgh Steelers that really sold you? Because neither of those did it for me, and it was definitely not the Joe Flacco-led New York Jets beating the Cleveland Browns in Week 2 that sold me on the Browns' chances of being a playoff team. But with all that said, the Browns are a solid football team. You highlighted the reasons why. They're going to have a running game. They're going to have one of the best offensive lines in the entire NFL, but there's a stretch here. Obviously, they're sitting at 2-1. Their next 3 games, they have the Falcons this week, which should be a win. They have the Chargers and Patriots after that, which are both toss-ups. But I want to focus on a 5-game stretch starting in the last week, specifically October 23rd, a 5-game stretch that involves the Ravens, the Bengals, at Miami, at Buffalo, at home for Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. That looks like 5 straight losses and a very critical point of the season for me before Deshaun Watson returns, most likely against his former team in the Houston Texans. You're the Cleveland Browns. You're not going to be able to survive a 5-game losing streak in late October, early November, which is what I envision. Jacoby Brissett is not going to beat Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Tua, Josh Allen, and Tom Brady.
Back-to-back. Myles Garrett has to beat Joe Burrow.
It doesn't simply come down to that matchup, but that certainly is going to play a role. Do you like the Browns in any of those 5 games?
I think the Bengals is definitely a game that they could win, and I think that the Bengals are just as struggling on the Browns at this point also. I mean, listen, definitely, you pointed out some games where they're going to play some tough playoff teams. Yeah. Bills in Miami, I definitely don't think they can win. However, that earlier stretch, Chargers are up in the air right now. Yeah. I think they'll be favored. I think New England, they can absolutely win, especially if Brian Hoyer is the quarterback. So you're talking about if they go in, they win. Let's say, I think that's, what is that?
They should be 5-1 or 4-2 heading into that very tough 5-game stretch that I highlighted.
So you're losing 3 games and you're still playing for the wild card. I absolutely think they'll be fine, even if they do lose most of those games except for beating the Bengals. Okay. This is not something to be worried about, especially when you're still waiting to get the guy that you want to be your starting quarterback.
It's going to be interesting. Obviously, I think we both like the Ravens to win the division. I still like the Bengals ahead of the Browns, and obviously there's going to be a lot of teams competing for that last wild card spot in the AFC, but clearly you're in the believe land.
I believe.
But let us know in the comments how you're feeling about the Browns this season with Jacoby Brissett. Maybe later once they get Deshaun Watson back, but let us know. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out our other videos and don't forget to smack that subscribe button down below while you're at it. Also, for more great and original content, head right over to bvmsports.com.